I accidentally became a long-term substitute teacher. So I was subbing in New York, and my husband was in the military, which is why I was in New York. And I just was doing day-to-day positions at the school district that I was in. So I love the middle school and the high school. So that's really what I was doing. And it lasted for a month. So I was in January. This is back in 2019. So in January, I was in for a math teacher, and it was my lunch period. So I went and sat in the lunchroom, and someone was in there crying. And I was like, oh, what's wrong? You know, and she's sobbing. She just looked at me like for like a solid minute. And she was just like, I have health issues. I need to take the rest of the year off. I don't think HR is going to let me. I have to fight it. It stinks that I have to fight it. This is my health. Like, I know that I'm not going to die, but like, I need the rest of the year off to rest. I need to be on bed rest. And I was like, oh, like, what's your subject? I would be happy to help you and how I can. And she's like, that's the thing. I was like, what's your subject? And she was like, and I was like,
oh, thank you, Jesus.
Because that is what I went to school for. So I was really, really happy. So I knew that she was taking off the next week. So like the following week. And she was hoping for 2 weeks off, at least till like she had another doctor's appointment and whatnot. And I was like, let me help out. I'll do whatever you need me to do, and we can go from there. So one day I actually like shadowed her. The school let me do that. And she was like, if you're willing to be here for this week, I'm hoping to get 2 weeks off, whatever. So, and then like hopefully moving forward to the rest of the year. So she was off and I'm teaching, and we were doing like a discussion, and there was like activities throughout the time, throughout the period. And I was like, I noticed this guy come in the room, and I'm like, okay, hi. I thought he was a para because he ended up sitting in between two students who had IEPs, and I thought that they needed extra help. Like, I didn't know. I wasn't told anything, but I was like, okay. So he sits there, he's taking notes, he's like observing me and stuff. And I'm walking around the room, like not even thinking anything of it. And I'm calling on students, calling them by their first name and doing what I was supposed to be doing. Like I was the teacher, and I was literally just pretending like I was their teacher. And so the period ends, and he walks up to me and goes, good job. And he hands me this paper. And I'm like, thank you. What's this? And he was like,
your observation. You're the teacher. You should have known with your emails that I was coming in to observe you.
And I was like,
do you observe for day-to-day substitute teachers?
and he looked at me like, you're the health teacher. And I was like, oh, I'm actually a day-to-day sub. The teacher's out for 2 weeks. I went to school for health and physical education. And I like explained the whole ordeal. And he stopped me and goes, you are not a day-to-day teacher or substitute teacher. And I was like, I am. And he was like, you are not. And I was like, I don't know what else to tell you, because I'm not lying about my role with this district. And he was like, there's absolutely no way. Where's the teacher? And I was like, well, she's sick. She's out for maybe 2 weeks. and she's hoping to get the rest of the year off just because of her illness or whatever. And he was like, write your phone number down. So I wrote it down. So I go home and I get a call by like 5:30 p.m. And he's like, hey, I talked to the teacher. I talked to HR. She's going to be out for, we're not sure how long. She's hoping for the end of the year, like you said, but we want you in this position. Do you want to take it? And I was like, heck yeah, I want to take it. So that is how I landed my first long-term subbing position. And I wanted to share that with you because a lot of you guys I know want a long-term position, or you are starting out as a day-to-day substitute teacher and you happen to get asked to be a long-term sub. And a lot comes with a long-term sub position. And so it's not just you go in and you take attendance and do what the teacher has you do that day. Like, there's so much more to it. And I think where I was lucky enough and was the fact that he was observing me. And a lot of the times, like, as a substitute teacher, like, principals don't even see you teach. If you are even teaching a subject at school, they don't look at that, right? And they don't have the time, really. So I was very like shocked that that happened. So what I think is really important here is that when you are subbing, it's why you take it very seriously. And I'm not like patting myself on the back. Like, no, this isn't about me. This YouTube channel is for you guys. But what I want to point out here is that when you are in a subbing job, it's important that you learn each day as a sub, right? When I was starting out in Watertown, New York, that was the first time that I was being a sub, to be honest, because I was a para before. So this was like a whole new scheme of things because I was so used to just assisting students in the classroom. So I had to like go back into my memory from college, which wasn't that far from 2019, but because I was wanting to sub, I was like, okay, well, I need to like engage the students. I need to make sure that I take the attendance and like at least try to know their names for that day, walk around, monitor, like all the things that I teach you in my other videos are what will come together if you are really wanting a long-term sub position. So comment down below if you guys are really interested in becoming a long-term sub and if you're interested in content in that as well. Okay, the next story time is going to be when I did start on my own in the long-term position and how that day went.